Farzana ma'am, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Can we start?
yes, we can start. There are 40 participants now, so I think we must start because then we also have a hard stop at 6 p.m. I don't mind
Yes.
waiting, I don't mind extending the session, but I think
Yes,
yeah,
sure.
okay.
Humera, ma'am. Humera, miss, are you there?
Ma'am, I think Humaira ma'am is not there, so we can start with the session, but I think she will join us soon.
Fine. Assalamu alaikum and good evening, one and all. At the outset, I welcome all the participants, our esteemed resource person, Siddhi Mohta madam, respected principal sir, all the participants from other colleges, our students who have joined here for the webinar. And I'm extremely pleased to welcome our today's resource person. I also welcome our respected principal sir. And before I hand over officially to our resource person, sir, would you like to speak?
Yes, madam. Yeah.
Please, sir. I welcome our respected principal sir, Dr. Sajid Hundekar sir.
Yes, good evening, madam. On the behalf of DRT's A.E.Kalsekar College, Green Club, and Department of Political Science has organized a webinar on global, national, and local perspective on water policy and water security by Siddhi Mohta ma'am, who is a policy advisor, consultant, Safe Water Network. I welcome you, ma'am, on this occasion and hope you will enlighten our students as well as me also as a geologist. I am eager to hear you from your side. You are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Misbah ma'am.
Thank you, sir. And moving ahead, as DRT's A.E.Kalsekar Degree College is a minority institution, and recently we were accredited A grade with NAC. And with this, I move ahead and I'm pleased to welcome and introduce our resource person, Siddhi Mohta madam, for today's webinar. Just a brief CV, although she has a very impressive CV, but I'm very sorry, ma'am, I cut it short. Siddhi Mohta ma'am is a professional with 9 years of experience blending education in engineering stream with a passion for public policy and social impact. With a background in electronics and telecommunication engineering from University of Mumbai, she transitioned seamlessly into the realm of public policy, earning a postgraduate program in public policy, design and management from Indian School of Public Policy. Throughout her career, she has been at the forefront of driving change and innovation in various sectors, ranging from government advisory to corporate social responsibility initiatives. Ma'am has a remarkable ability to navigate the intricacies of policy cycles and project implementations from conceptions to evaluation. At present, ma'am is serving as a consultant with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, New Delhi, and is playing a pivotal role in shaping water security initiatives under the Amrut Initiative mission. Her work under Jal Jeevan Mission reflects her commitment to ensure safe water access for all. Previously, ma'am had held strategic positions at organizations such as Samhita Social Ventures and Center for Innovation, Planning and Evaluation, where she led teams to execute impactful projects, including facilitating millions of COVID 19 vaccination and implementing innovative solutions for tribal development in Maharashtra. Very impressive CV, ma'am, and it is our privilege to have you here today as a resource person to observe this World Water Day. Ma'am, Your association in the real field is truly impressive. We welcome you and also thank you to accept our invitation at such a short notice. Over to you, ma'am. The session is open and we look forward for a very valuable and insightful session. Thank you very much. Over
Thank
to you, ma'am.
you. Thank you very much, Farzana ma'am, for the generous introduction. You did not cut it short in any way. In fact, you added, a little more laurel to it in the way you said it. Thank you very much. Hundekar sir, as you said, I am coming from a practitioner's background and you are from an academic background, being a geologist yourself. I will have to be very careful of what I say in this session, and please feel free to correct me whenever you feel the need to do so. And before I begin with the session, I would request all the participants to just kindly write whether they are a faculty or they are a student, and also write which department they belong to in the chat box, just to get a sense of who the participants are. So if some of you could just key in your details, your department, and whether you're a professor or a student, that's it. Okay, nice, nice. Okay, 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 okay. Great. So this session, I think, will be a very interesting session for all of you because it will be absolutely different from what you do academically. And I hope I will be able to do justice. If you don't understand anything, please raise your hand. Farzana ma'am, I would request you to keep a check on the raised hands and on the chat box, since I'll be sharing screen, so I will not be able to see the raised hands.
Sure,
So
sure.
keep a check on the raised hands, and in case anybody has any pressing question that needs to be answered immediately, and if they have put it in the chat box, then we will try to address those questions as they come. Because I think if things get a little too technical, it might be a little difficult to digest. Um, so I will begin with my session now. Let me know if my screen is visible to all of you properly.
We welcome Green Club District Coordinator, Mr. Mahesh Patil, sir, who has joined us.
Good evening, sir. Thanks for joining.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. We welcome you to the session.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Okay, is the screen visible in full screen? If one of you could just
Yes, yes.
unmute and tell
Visible.
me. Okay, it's visible and it's clearly visible, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So let me begin the session now. I'm going to talk on water security and water governance from the local perspective, from the global perspective, and obviously the national perspective. Water is an issue that impacts each one of us sitting in this room. The very fact that all of you all have taken out some time from your busy schedules. It's a Friday evening. Everybody has some weekend plans, and especially it being the month of Ramzan, I understand Friday evening is an important time for you. So I am really thankful to each one who has joined. And water is an extremely important issue, and I really thank all of you for giving that importance to that issue. Your first step towards being an active citizen, a citizen who contributes to this country's growth, has been achieved already by just turning up for this session. Um, so this session will basically be divided into three broad parts. First part is on water security, And in the first part, we will have two subparts, that is what availability and quality. So water security can be divided into two subparts: availability of water and quality of water. Now, when we talk about availability, we can also have one more subheader under the availability, that is convenience. How far one has to go to actually get good quality water. Does it come through the tap in your home, or does it come through a community tap, or you all the way have to go to a well with a pail and fetch water and bring it to your home? So availability can have another sub bucket called convenience, but we will broadly classify water security into availability and quality. Now, after water security is done, we will talk about the governance aspect, the water policy aspect. But it is obviously first very necessary to understand what water security exactly is, to be able to understand what policies the governments across levels are applying to able to achieve this water security that we envision. So the first part of the session, water quality. Now, if you talk about water quality, there is this survey that was done by BIS. I hope this PDF is visible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this survey was conducted by BIS. BIS is Bureau for Indian Standards. BIS basically comes up with standards for anything and everything on Earth with respect to India. So BIS also has water related standards. Now, as per every city in this country has to ensure that their drinking water is as per BIS standards. Okay, now BIS conducted a survey where they went and checked the tap water quality of different cities, or almost 21 cities in the country. Now, when they checked around 10 samples in this country, okay, for every city. Now, once they did this test, they realized that Mumbai was the only city where the samples, none of the samples failed, and Delhi was the city where all the 11 samples that were taken failed in 19 individual parameters. So you can imagine the depth of problem when it comes to the water of Delhi. And you can also see that Mumbai is doing fairly very well, and so are Hyderabad and Bhubaneswar. But I would like you to take a pause, look at this table, and think, what is wrong with this table? What is wrong with this data? Is there anything wrong at all? What questions do we need to ask when we are looking at this table? So, is there anyone who would like to, question this table? Is there anyone who would like to give their comments on this table? Any immediate question that is coming to your mind when this table is shown to you? Fazana ma'am, if you could help me with somebody who is raising their hand, people can just unmute and answer also.
Yes. Aksa Ansari has raised a hand. Aksa, please go ahead. You can unmute yourself. Aksa, you can unmute yourself. Or you can post it on the chat box. Yes, I request the technical team to unmute the participants if they want to ask.
Manan, can you unmute her who's raising the hand?
Unmute themselves. Aksa?
Yes, the
Is it
setting
correct?
is already.
Okay, if Aksa is unable to answer right now, let me just um, tell you my thoughts on this table yourself, myself, and help you dig deeper.
Can I get on?
Okay, and help you dig deeper into how you should actually look at data that is given to you by any source of media, by any newspaper, by any agency. Okay, agency even as good as Bureau for Indian Standards. So the first thing is, okay, 10 samples were taken, but where are these 10 samples taken from actually? Are they, is the sample a representative sample? Are they also taking samples from slum areas? Are they ensuring that everybody in this city who needs to be covered, whose water needs to be tested, who is living in different conditions, everybody is included in that sample or not? Which time of the year these samples were taken for testing water on that particular day? What was the quality of the source?
Ma'am, you were on mute.
Hello.
Ma'am, you can unmute yourself.
Please,
Oh, since
please
how
continue.
long?
We lost few minutes of yours.
All right. Okay.
Please continue,
So,
ma'am.
so okay. So what I'm saying is that I would urge all of you to go through this article, which I have put into the presentation. I would request Farzana ma'am to also share this presentation with the participants. Due to the paucity of time, I'm not going through the exact details of what this article entails, but uh, definitely do go through this article and try to understand that even though water quality is a very big problem, um, different studies will always come up with different rankings depending on different times of the year, whether the study was done post monsoon, pre monsoon, etc., also impacts the quality of water. Now, what are the reasons for poor quality? Now, let us assume that this particular BIS study is a representative for all the 4,800 cities in this country. And because the state capitals are having such poor quality of water, let us also assume that this is the story throughout the country's urban area. Now, since I come from an urban policy space, I will be able to talk with surety about the urban areas of the country, and that is why this focus on urban a lot. You might have questions regarding, okay, what is the water quality in rural India? I will try to answer your questions with respect to rural India's perspective if you have any. But for this presentation right now, I'm focusing on urban areas and piped water systems in urban areas. So, what could be reasons of poor quality? First and second, non-pressured pipes. Now, what happens is, can anyone tell me whether do you get water in your homes 24 into 7, or do you get it 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening? How, what is it? Intermittent water supply, or is it 24 into 7 water supply? Can anybody answer? Farzana ma'am, even you can answer, or anybody who wants to answer can unmute themselves and answer.
Ma'am,
Yes, there are few answers in the chat box. 1 hour in morning, 1 hour in morning, 1 hour in evening. These are the usual timings.
Right.
Intermediate, as shared by Sean.
Right, right. So many of you must also be living in housing societies where, though in your tap you get 24 into 7 water supply because you have an overhead tank in your housing society and also an underground reservoir which your housing society has, because the builder has made it that way, right? But the water that comes into those underground reservoirs is also intermittent in nature. That means that pipelines, your water pipelines in the city have water only for 1 hour or 2 hours in the morning and evening. Rest of the time, these pipelines are empty. Now, when they are empty, they create a vacuum. And when there is a vacuum, the filth that is around the lines, around the pipeline, tends to get into the pipeline. Okay. So now, when the water leaves from your water treatment plant, okay, water has water has been treated in the water treatment plant, and now it is leaving the water treatment plant. So when the water leaves the water treatment plant, what happens is that in the pipelines, whatever filth is there, that filth gets mixed with the treated water, and the quality of water deteriorates once again. So, due to this non-pressured pipes and pipes, because of the nature of density of the cities of India, pipelines are often close to sewer lines. Most of the cities in India have emerged very organically, and people came first, and then it was decided, okay, now that people have come here, we'll have to provide them water, sewer, and all those services that are necessary for a good life. So basically, due to this haphazard, so-called haphazard organic development, pipelines often are close to sewer lines also. So because of which your water quality deteriorates. The third thing is bad quality of source. Often, what happens is this happens during summer months. So when you all must have read in the news very often that say, since all of you are aware of say Vetarna or Bhatsa, okay, the place from where Mumbai's water comes. So um, Vetarna or Bhatsa, the water quantity has reduced a lot, and now there is only very less water left in the dam to be able to supply the city. At that time, they take water from the dead stock of the dam. When they are taking water from the dead stock of the dam's reservoir, at that time the TDS, the other dissolved solids, also increase, and because of that, the quality of water automatically deteriorates. Um, it could also be some certain unforeseen events that happen. If you remember, last year in Delhi, Yamuna was overflowing. all the major WTPs of Delhi had to be shut down because of the overflowing of the Yamuna. Now, because this happened, the water quality deteriorated. So there are many reasons, some of which can be handled, some of which cannot be handled, some whose frequency is very high and it's a pertinent issue, and some issues which are also unforeseen. So, what can be one way of ensuring that we get good quality water in our homes? Poor quality of water coming from our taps is a challenge. That is something that I agree on. I hope I have been able to convince all of you in this forum also that poor quality of water in our homes is a problem. But what could be a possible solution to this poor quality of water? So, one very important and very possible to implement solution is ensuring that there is pressure in our water pipes 24 into 7, that we have enough water to ensure that we have 24 into 7 water supply. Many countries across the world, mostly developed countries, have 24 into 7 water supply, and water supply which is drink from tap. All of us, okay, we cannot imagine a life without an RO purifier in our house or a UV treatment purifier in our house. We cannot imagine drinking water that is directly taken in a glass from the kitchen tap and we drink it. We need purification. We'll either boil it or we'll put it through UV treatment or RO treatment. Is it not? But most developed countries in the world have a drink from tap system where you open the tap, fill your glass with the tap, and you drink that water. It is so pure and it is so good. However, now we have advanced enough to not give international examples only. In our country, Puri, Jagannath Puri, if you are aware of, in Odisha, has become the best success story in the country when it comes to providing 24 into 7 drink from tap water supply. They have done some excellent work and in order to ensure that good quality water reaches the consumers taps. And how did they go about achieving it? First, okay, they made the state urban water policy in which they clearly wrote down that there is a right to water for everyone in the state. Second, they ensured that every household has a water meter and every metered connection has volumetric billing. Okay. And the third and the most important thing which Odisha did was to ensure community participation through SHGs. They called these warriors Jal Sathis and they trained them, and through their training they taught them on how to facilitate new connection, on how they can identify illegal connections, on how they can read water meter, on how they can ensure that the consumer uh, pays the bills of the water, and they are the ones who go door to door to collect these water bills from the consumers. They also do regular water quality testing so that the end consumer has a lot of confidence that okay, yeah, the water that is coming in my tap is good enough to consume, and I don't need any RO, any UV treatment before drinking it. They have come up with a very effective consumer complaint redressal system, and these Jalsathis are also creating awareness amongst the public with respect to water conservation, with respect to respecting the resource that is water and the importance of it. Odisha has been able to do some very good work also because of integrating technology into this entire system. They have integrated real-time quality monitoring. They have integrated flow and pressure monitoring. Flow and pressure monitoring is necessary, especially in a drink from tap system, because anytime the pressure increases or decreases, it can change the entire pipelines supply. So it can also create leakages. It can also, cause bursts, etc. And any burst would need immediate resolution to ensure that the 24 into 7 water supply is not affected. So the next part is the availability of water. Okay, so in water security, and for the sake of everyone, I'm repeating, in water security, the first part was water quality. Okay, to water quality, I have proposed the solution that make water 24 into 7 available in the cities of this country to ensure that water quality from WTP. Okay, water treatment plant is definitely necessary. After the treatment of water to the tap, the water quality remains as it is and doesn't deteriorate. The next part is availability of water. Okay, you will say that Siddhi is telling me that you want 24 into 7 water supply, but you definitely need water, right? You have the pipelines, you have the district metered areas, you have the overhead tanks, you make everything, but if you don't have water, then how will you have achieved 24 into 7 water supply? So, this is something that I want to take you through. Now, if you look at this water scarcity clock, worldwater.io is a website that all of y'all after this session can go to, and y'all can see what is happening with respect to water in this country, in and across the entire world. Now, this is a screenshot that I have attached for 2023. You can also check their predictions for up to 2050, and you can also check the history of this country, and which districts were not water stressed at all, and suddenly now they have come in absolute water scarcity. So you can see almost 28 crore people in this country are living under water stress, and 20, out of those 28 crores, 26 crores are in absolute water scarcity. This is the level of urgency. If you look at the red and the orange areas marked out here, you will be able to understand that majority of the part of the country, and the other parts of the Indian peninsula are getting impacted by absolute water scarcity. And this picture is going to drastically change, and it can get even more worse. And to add to this, um, India is rapidly urbanizing. We we are now at a stage where we can say that okay, by 2040, by 2050, around 50% of the country will be living in urban India. So India is not a rural country anymore. So the water stress on urban areas which are very densely populated is going to increase all the more. All of y'all have heard about what happened in Chennai, what happened in Bengaluru, what happened in Maharashtra a few years ago, what is happening in Punjab. So all of us are aware of the absolute scared situation that we are living in. See, the point of this presentation is not to give you that anxiety, but as citizens, we also need to be aware of every drop of water that is going waste from our taps when our taps are leaking in the houses. So this is not going to the next one. Okay, so this
Ma'am,
is basically, sorry.
can regular water audit and corporation level is water conservation to avoid any leakages?
Can you repeat your question? I did not understand. मुझे समझ में
Can
नहीं आया.
regular can regular water audit at corporation level
Yes,
helps
yes.
in water conservation and avoid leakages?
Absolutely. Water audits help you in figuring out leakages. They help you in figuring out, where is the non-revenue water going. See, what these people in Odisha through their Jal Sathis are achieving is sort of a social audit of their water systems. Okay. So to give you an example of water audits, Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation conducts very regular water audits, and yes, they definitely do help in reducing the non-revenue water. That is water that is just going waste without generating any revenue, without being billed, unbilled water. Okay, I hope
Thank
that
you, ma'am.
answers your question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, great.
Ma'am, there is
So,
one more question. Uh,
sure.
uh, can you throw some light on Jal Shakti Abhiyan 2019?
Right, right. Yes, I can. I can. So, see, there are two parts to the Jal Jeevan mission. Okay. And Jal Shakti Abhiyan, you mean the rainwater harvesting, catch the rain? Okay, there are two, three parts to it. There is rainwater harvesting, catch the rain Abhiyan, okay, which is under the Ministry of Jal Shakti, and there is also Jal Jeevan Mission, which is under the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Both of these missions are rural focused missions. When it comes to the cities of this country, Jal Jeevan Urban is called as Amrut 2, okay, and Amrit 2 specifically focuses uh, on the cities of the country, which are 4,800 cities across India, and currently which are currently housing 40% of the population of this country. Um, I can throw more light on it, but I think if you have any specific question with respect to the Abhiyan, I will try to answer it. But by and large, what Amrit 2, Jal Jeevan Urban focuses on is everything from water source to sink. So basically, improving source quality, ensuring that you get piped water connection, ensuring that you have sewage treatment plants before the sewage that is generated goes into the streams or the sea. Okay, so from source to sink, everything is covered under the Amrit 2 mission of uh, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So by and large, it is that one major focus of the mission is also water body conservation, water body rejuvenation, and the mission also focuses on using recycled water. So by and large, this is the mission. I think I will move ahead. If I hope that was a good enough answer to give you a broad understanding of what the mission is doing.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Ma'am, there is one more person who has just raised the hand. Can you just
Yes.
unmute yourself and ask the question? I
Yes,
think it's
ma'am.
on. Yes.
Good evening. Yeah, ma'am.
Good
So,
evening.
I just looking at the scarcity clock, and
Hmm.
India and the half of the part of the India, that is the western line. If we
Hmm.
look at the western side,
Yeah.
there is more scarce area over there. So the question is that the western line being closest to the sea, how
Huh.
how that area can be like an water scarcity area, like it is close to the sea, and I
Okay.
don't think, yeah,
So
like that.
yeah, it is a very important question. What is happening these days is that rainfall patterns are changing drastically. When it comes to water scarcity, it doesn't matter how much it is raining. What matters is how much of the rain are we able to capture, and we can capture the rainwater one only when there is enough sponge in the city. When we talk about sponge in the city, we are talking about how much water that city can absorb and replenish the groundwater table. Okay, and the second thing is it should rain enough in the catchment areas. So, especially with respect to Mumbai, the rainfall in the catchment areas is decreasing. Now, take Bangaluru's example. Rainfall, that happened in the Kaveri's catchment was very less in this particular year, in the last year, which is due to which the supply that the Kaveri could give to Bangalore also decreased. So it is not about how much rain is happening in your belt. It is also about whether it is raining in the catchment areas and whether our water tables are being replenished. Okay, so these are two very important things that need to be taken care of. To understand water scarcity.
Good evening, everyone. We have another 15 minutes to go. So I request the participants to post the questions in the chat box. Meanwhile, ma'am can continue.
All right. Okay. Ma'am, I would request you to give me another, 10 minutes extra
Yes,
also
please,
because
ma'am.
we
Please
started
call.
out late.
Please
Okay.
do it, ma'am.
Okay. I will also try to rush through.
Yes.
Okay. So now we will go to the next part, that is the groundwater stress in major cities. Again, here to all the participants, I would urge that you go to the Central Groundwater Board (CWGB's) website and try to check, you know, every year's report. Yearly reports for groundwater extraction are available in CWGB's website. Now, if you look at these yearly reports, this is a very nice graph which I found, on data.opencity.in, which basically use data from that particular report and, sort of try to point out which cities are having very high water extraction. Um, what this graph is trying to tell you is that in Bengaluru and Chennai, the water extraction was more than the water that was being replenished. That means 150% of extraction was happening in Bengaluru. And this, I looked at the reports of 2021 also and 2023 also. So this has definitely been the case for the past 3 years at least. Okay. So now, as a policymaker, the question definitely arises that, you have a central groundwater board which gives you this data every day. But at the end of the day, what are we doing with this data? Why is this data not reaching the policymaker in the way it should? It's a question that all of us need to think about. Why couldn't we take proactive steps, okay, for Chennai or for Bengaluru, despite having so much data, despite having so much information, despite so many people, so many experts who have time and again pointed out things. And this data is not even from some third party agency where you can say, these third party agencies, they do some secondary research and they come up with flawed data. This is data from your own agency, from a government agency. So we really need to sit and think about what is exactly going wrong. Why is there so much information but so little action on the information, so little proactive action on the information? Why are we not able to quantify things into urgent, important, and things which are urgent and important both? So next part is changing rainfall patterns. Since all of y'all are from Maharashtra, I took this map from Maharashtra. So again, Indian Meteorological Department, IMD, these this is an absolutely well, they maintain very good data, and this is an absolutely well maintained database of changing rainfall patterns, and they also analyze this data and provide the trends to you. So CWGB also had great data, but there was a lack of analysis was expected to be done by the people who are actually accessing the data. IMD is actually doing the analysis also and is giving you maps also, and they're telling you that okay, this has been the trend in the past from 1990 to 2018, and they have given this state wise, district wise. They are clearly trying to show us all the red parts are parts where the water is decreasing. Okay, all the blue parts are the parts where the rainfall pattern, the amount of rain that is happening is increasing. So if you can see, you will see that in the month of June, which is on the top left, okay, in the month of June, rainfall has constantly declined, okay, in these parts of the country. In July, in these parts of the state, I'm sorry, in July, okay, there are certain parts which are having good rainfall, but there's a certain area in Maharashtra which does not receive enough rainfall in July. And how this rainfall pattern change is impacting our water tables, is impacting our agriculture, is also something that we need to investigate a little more on. As you can see, at least from personal anecdotal experience, I have felt that actually across, um, the past 3-4 years at least. I am from Mumbai, by the way. I live in Delhi now, but I am from Mumbai. So, of what I have noticed of being in Mumbai, I have realized that yes, in September, actually, the rainfall has increased to quite an extent. And it suddenly starts raining towards the end of the monsoon season. before the rains actually say goodbye to us. So this is also what my anecdotal understanding is also reflected in the data. And you can see how these rainfall patterns are changing, and these changing rainfall patterns are definitely impacting the amount of water that is available to us. So, okay, climate change inevitable, weather pattern change due to climate change inevitable, increasing population inevitable, density of cities will keep on increasing, people will urbanize more. Therefore, pressure on groundwater resources is inevitable. So, what is the solution? The solution is used water recycling. And as on date, okay, okay. So firstly, I would like all the participants to note here, I'm not calling it wastewater, I'm calling it used water. Okay, there is a big change in narrative when we call water used water and not wastewater, because water is not a waste resource. Everything that goes into the sea comes back as clouds and it rains. It is basically net amount of water in the on the earth by and large remains the same. Okay, so there is no wastewater, there is only used water. And once we recycle this used water, there is potential to actually be able to tackle the water crisis that our country is facing, especially when it comes to the urban areas of the country. So as on date, as on date of the total sewage that is generated, we have the capacity to treat 30% of that sewage water. Okay, and that to secondary treatment. There are three types of treatment: primary treatment, secondary treatment, and tertiary treatment. Usually, secondary treated water can be used in agriculture. Tertiary treated water can be used in industrial purposes, and in some cases, it is as good as drinking water also. Okay, and uh, despite having 30% of these STPs, 30% capacity to recycle our sewerage water, most of these STPs do not function at their optimum capacities, and they are hardly reusing the water that is recycled. Okay, so even if the STP output is there, the STP output is hardly used in recycling. It is thrown back into the rivers. Okay, so used water recycling is something that is up and coming, and it is also one of the major objectives of the under the National Water Policy 2012. And considering this National Water Policy 2012, keeping in mind this National Water Policy, Amrit 2 mission, Jal Jeevan Mission Urban, that is, also has envisioned that by the end of the mission, 20% of the city water demand will be met through used water, and 40% of the entire state, okay, any state's industrial water demand will be met through used water. And this has a potential to sort of offset the growing demands. Okay, it may not be able to 100% meet, okay, but it will sort of just offset that. Okay, if my city is growing at 20% decadal growth, um, which is the average decadal growth rate of any city in this country, um, this used water usage will help me offset the increasing demands. It will definitely not meet the entire demand that is there today. Say if Bengaluru requires 2000 mld of water, it will not be able to give you 2000 mld of water, used water, but it will at least be able to say give you 200 mld or 300 mld of um, used water. It is a very big vision. It is going to take time to achieve, but we have taken our first steps towards it. I am sure all of you all, must be getting different ideas in your mind regarding used water. So this is a video. This is a video that is basically a video of the tertiary treatment plant at Navi Mumbai, and this tertiary treatment plant is giving water as good as drinkable. Okay, it is giving us potable water. Okay, the sewage enters into it and drink-worthy water comes outside of it. Um, Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation is actually planning to collaborate with industries at the MIDC and supply this water to the industries. Again, there is a certain pushback from the industries, and on this, I would like to hear your view. I would want you to watch this video, when you have the luxury of time. But I would like to ask all of you this question. Please go to menti.com, put this joining code 7513055, okay, and answer. Think about this question. Answer this question: that if you know your municipal corporation is supplying recycled used water, will you be comfortable in drinking it? If you know that it is following all the BIS standards, all the international standards, if the water quality is as good as quote unquote European standards, would you be comfortable in drinking it? Go to menti.com, use the code 7513055. 7513055. Are you able to see my screen even now?
Yes,
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
visible, ma'am.
It's visible.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I'm waiting for your answers. Quickly, quickly, we have less time.
Yes,
After this, I
I
have
mean,
only
we
10
have
minutes.
hardly 5 minutes left. Hurry up, please.
One person is saying yes. Okay, okay. So I will urge all of you all to think
They are
about
putting
this
it on
more.
chat box. We have
Okay.
received many on chat box.
Yes.
Okay, what are people on the chat box saying? Let me check.
Most of them are
Okay.
saying yes.
Many. Okay. Some are saying no as well. Some are
Yes.
saying no as well.
One no response.
Exactly. So it is a controversial answer. It is a controversial question also, and it is a mindset thing also, that how do we actually uh, you know drink water which is basically coming from a sewage treatment plant. It is definitely something that we need to sort of uh, make peace with. I visited this NMMC plant myself, and the water that they showed me, the water standards, they tested it in front of me. Neither me nor any of the others who were with me were brave enough to actually drink that water, though it looked just like normal water. So it is a mindset thing. It is a mindset thing, and it will require some conditioning for us. Now we come to the last section of our presentation. But before I move on to the last section, I would like to ask all of you.
Ma'am, you are left with very few minutes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to leave you with these questions. Why should the governments be responsible for the supply of safe drinking water? You are responsible to earn your own money, right? Then why don't you buy Bisleri water cans from the money that you earn? Why should the government supply you safe drinking water? Governments need enough finances to meet the quality standards, right? But should the government, spend its money in providing us safe drinking water? Why? Hmm? Water is a natural resource. Water is life, and charging for water. Okay, say we are talking about metering. There should be meters installed in everybody's home. There should be volumetric billing. Okay, that for every kiloliter that you use, you must be charged. Okay, why should it be done? Water is a natural resource. Water is life. Why should it be chargeable to us? Okay, so ask yourself this question. Go back home and think about it. Do you think that it is okay to pay your local government in exchange for water and sewerage services? Again, I had a question on menti.com, but I'm not going to take it. I'll move to water policy and governance with this question in your mind, that whether it is the onus really the government's to provide water. So, global goal is SDG 6, Sustainable Development Goal 6, clean water and sanitation. There are 6 key outcomes, which are enlisted as on the slide. I don't have the time to take you through all the objectives, but basically
Ma'am,
they
can
cover.
I?
But
I'm
basically they
sorry to
cover.
intervene, ma'am. We are short of time. Uh, I'm extremely sorry to intervene. Such an insightful session, ma'am.
That is okay. That is okay.
But we are short of time, ma'am. And I'll on yes, ma'am.
So if you could give me just 5 minutes, I could just take
Actually,
you
few
through.
minutes are left. Only 2, 3 minutes are left. The
Yeah,
meeting will automatically off. So I'll need to just on behalf of Political Science Department, before you continue, Political Science Department and Green Club would like to thank for such an knowledgeable session. And I request participants to unmute themselves to on their cameras for a group photograph as well. And ma'am, it was really our pleasure to have you for the session. I'm thankful to Farzana ma'am to get us such a resourceful resource person to us today. And I thank Principal Sir and my team and my co-coordinator Vera ma'am for supporting for successful event, and not the least my lovely participants for enthusiastically posting your questions in the chat box, and my technical team to make the event successful.
great. Thank you so much. I wish I could continue with the session
Ma'am,
for a
we
bit longer.
request you to share your PPTs, which we will be forwarding it with your permission to the participants.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll do that. Yeah. The next part was actually interesting. So, again, I'll put down my details, my email address in the chat box. If any one of you has questions after going through the presentation, there is a lot of information that I have shared in the presentation. Please go through all the links that I've put into the presentation. And if you have questions, um, please email me on the email ID I have shared in the chat box.
Sure, ma'am. I request Principal Sir if you want to share some words.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm very delighted with your lecture, and I also want to interact with you so many things, but time is not permitted us. So hope we maybe in the future we may again interact with you for a big session. And if you are there in
Absolutely.
Bombay, then we will have a offline session in our college. We will physically meet soon.
Yes, it will be our
Excellent, excellent.
privilege.
I would be looking forward to it. It was absolutely a pleasure to interact with all of you all, and the fact that all of you have so many questions to ask. So, very heartwarming. Thank you.
Humera ma'am, can you ask 1, 2 questions which are posted in the chat box till the
There are
meeting
few
end?
more, yeah, ma'am. So that if you can address.
Sure. Okay. Which are the questions that you want me to address? Because there is a lot of. Okay.
Ma'am, there is one question. Uh, Explain about the arrest water and percolate water mission run by Government of India.
Arrest water and percolate water. Is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, see, there are a lot of things that the government is doing. Okay. First of all, you need to understand that water is a state subject. It is not a national subject. Okay. And every state has different ways of including rainwater harvesting or catching the rain. Okay, so what is most important is that, yeah, okay, there are that in national water policy we are saying that an entire country should undertake rainwater harvesting through Jal Shakti Catch the Rain Abhiyan. We are saying that the government buildings, including school, including government offices, must have rainwater harvesting. Then we are saying that the model building bylaws, okay, must make uh, water harvesting compulsory in all housing societies. Okay, so all of these things are happening. Okay, at the end of the day, what I will leave you with is a law or a policy cannot be enforced if the people don't want it, and people will want it only if there is a need for it. Okay, so how much ever enforcement you do, how much ever you say that, okay, we'll fine this housing society for not having water supply systems, rainwater harvesting systems, okay, despite all the missions that we have, okay, if there is a need, things will automatically start happening, and government policies can only help create that environment, help create an environment of facilitation. How much ever coercion you do, it's not going to work. Facilitation is something that the government focuses on generally. So I hope I was able to answer.
There is one question from Professor Abhay Gule. What
Yes.
if we join all the rivers in India?
What if we join all the rivers in India? It is an interesting question, but it is quite hypothetical in nature. It isn't possible. So I don't think this question can be answered, and we really don't know what the long-term impacts could be of it. And since Professor Hundekar is a geologist himself, I'm sure he understands the scientific impacts of the same better than I do.
Yeah, madam. Last 20 years, we have been working on how we can connect, but it will be a huge investment is there. And government has started now joining shortest river connections now. So this process has already started now.
Right.
Might be in the future, once we get any funding, then definitely we will, right from north to south, we can have the connections of all the river networks. That will be a possible.
Excellent, excellent. That is a very positive note. Okay. Are there any other questions that need to be addressed?
Ma'am, a request to you. We are extremely sorry to stop you, but if you can please, in just 2-3 minutes, what you are about to sum up, so that will satisfy us. Your session was truly interesting, and few queries
Yes,
have
ma'am.
come. They have asked us to share your number. They are from other states and colleges. So, with your permission, shall we? So that
You
they
can.
can
No
organize
problem.
such events in their college.
No problem. You can. No problem.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll just, okay, to sum it up, I think I will not share the presentation now. I will just tell you in 2, 3 lines. Okay. Water is one subject, but there are 10 national agencies that I have enlisted myself, which are looking after water. Okay, multiple ministries, multiple technical agencies at the national level, despite water being a state subject. At the state level, every state has at least 5 to 6 agencies. To talk about Maharashtra, there is the Urban Development Department, there is the Irrigation Department, which is in charge of all the water sources. So कोई भी डैम से पानी आता है तो इरिगेशन डिपार्टमेंट लाता है. ओके, पाइप कनेक्शन आपके घर पे जाना है तो वो अर्बन डेवलपमेंट डिपार्टमेंट देखेगा. देन देर इज ग्राउंड वाटर सर्वेज एंड डेवलपमेंट एजेंसी, जीएसडीए, सारा ग्राउंड वाटर का लेखा जोखा उनके पास है. There is water supply and sanitation support organization. There is Maharashtra Jeevan Pradhikaran, which is basically in charge of all the public health engineering projects in Maharashtra, which also includes water supply. So there are multiple agencies. There is just one subject, water. आपके घर पे good quality and good convenience पे पानी अवेलेबल होना चाहिए, उसके लिए 15 से 20 एजेंसीज काम कर रही होती है. लेकिन सबसे ज्यादा अकाउंटेबल कौन सी एजेंसी होती है? वो है अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज. एंड अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज का रोल सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट होता है उसमें, लेकिन अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज के पास फाइनेंसेस नहीं है. उनके पास सिर्फ प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स का एक फाइनेंस का सिस्टम है. वो भी कई दफे हम बिकॉज ऑफ पॉलिटिकल रीजंस, यहाँ पे बहुत सारे पॉलिटिकल साइंस बैकग्राउंड के लोग होंगे, बिकॉज ऑफ पॉलिटिकल रीजंस हम प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स हम नहीं देते हैं, हम नहीं लागू करते हैं. ना ही हम यूजर चार्जेस कलेक्ट करते हैं, अगेन बिकॉज ऑफ पॉलिटिकल रीजंस. ना ही और बहुत सारी जो पैरास्टेटल एजेंसीज होती है, जैसे मुंबई है तो मुंबई में पैरास्टेटल एजेंसी कौन? एमएमआरडीए, माडा. नवी मुंबई में कौन? सिडको, है ना. तो ये सारी जो पैरास्टेटल एजेंसीज है, इनका इंटरफेरेंस इतना ज्यादा होता है. एंड दोनों अर्बन लोकल बॉडी और पैरास्टेटल एजेंसीज हमेशा एक दूसरे से लड़ रहे होते हैं, क्योंकि दोनों तरफ जो है वो इक्वल पावर के लोग होते हैं. तो एवरीबडी इज फाइटिंग अमंगस्ट देमसेल्व्स and trying to get the best for their agencies. So these are many issues that are at the urban local government level. The most important thing that we should demand as citizens is that our local governments should exist. We need to have elections. We need to have corporators who are representing the people in the urban local government, in the urban local body level. That I think for the state of Maharashtra now has become a long pending issue, that we need to have our elections, and I hope they happen soon. We need to hold these elected representatives accountable for the data on water. We need to hold them accountable. We need to increase our expectations. Why should I buy a RO? Why should I buy a UV? You, as urban local body, should give me drinkable tap water. I should be able to turn on my tap and take glass and drink from it. Okay. So that is the kind of demands that we need to have from our governments. We need to increase our expectations from the government and question every piece of information that you read, and try to apply logic to every piece of information that comes to you, and be aware of your local issues. So I would like to conclude my session now, and thank you everyone for your time. Thank you for the extra time also, Farzana ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. In fact, you have given us food for thought at Iftari. Towards the end, you have nailed it, and you're absolutely right that democratic decentralization, in fact, decentralization in letter and spirit, overlapping responsibilities, what you are talking about, the financial crunches, the responsibility of, or we can say people's participation, these all things are needed to have that accessibility, the availability of the water, which is definitely very scarce. But on this World Water Day, let's take a pledge in whatever our capacity we can. We should save water. We should help the government in their efforts of providing us clean and accessible water to us. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your insightful insights today. Thank you, Principal Sir, and all the participants here once again. And towards the end, it was very informative, very interactive. Thanks a lot. Participants, please fill the feedback link. Thank you, Misbah Miss, Humera Miss, and Team Green Club.
Appreciation reloaded for ma'am from the participants.
Yes.
Thank you very much. It means a lot, and y'all are a great audience. Thank you very much. I hope this session helped you in many
Truly,
ways.
ma'am.
Okay.
So we'll end the session.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Goodbye.
Thank you, Farzana.
With your permission, shall we end it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
okay.
yes, yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
ma'am.
sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all, dear participants. Please don't forget to fill the feedback link. Your feedback is valuable to us.
Okay, Nick.
Humera Miss?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you. We can wind up.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes.
One more
We'll wait
minute.
for
Yeah. Fortunately, it
please.
is showing us 1 more minute now.
1 more minute. Yes.
From 15 minutes, thankfully, we got the extension.
And it was a wonderful session, ma'am. Thank you for the resource.
Thank you, Green Team. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the resource person for arranging it.
Yeah, wonderful session. It was a wonderful.